remember being taught about kindness when you were little?
Nothing.
Not one thing?
No, not really. I mean, I had siblings, but they were so much older than me that I was essentially like an only child, so I didn't have to really share or.
You didn't have to be kind?
No, I didn't. And I
Not
had,
at least to them?
yeah, I mean, in school, I had some issues with students at school,
Mm-hmm.
but um, no, I don't really remember much of anything being told to me about being kind. Treat people the way you want to be treated, but
Mm-hmm.
that's
That do unto others sort of thing.
yeah, that's about it for me.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I really don't remember a whole lot, to be real honest. I remember them saying, kind of just be respectful. That was a big thing. And, don't embarrass the family. Don't do anything out in the public that will embarrass the
Don't
family.
shame the family name.
Yes, don't shame the family name. And that was kind of it. But we've tried pretty hard to teach our kids to be kind.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you can remember that we've done with the kids in particular?
Um. Well, I mean, when it's something like they struggle the most when they get in close proximity to one another.
To one another, like
Yeah.
summertime?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All day, and they just get tired of each other. And sometimes I just say, you know what? If you have nothing nice to say, just don't speak.
Yeah. Oh, you heard that growing up, didn't you? If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yes,
Yes, I heard that a ton.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
because I was not saying nice things a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, we just show them, and sometimes when they either receive something back that they've done to somebody else, then they get it, or if they're called out by somebody else that's not in the family, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times as well. So sometimes they seem to be a little more loose with each other than they are outside of the family.
Yeah.
And so, we say, whatever you would do out in public, you need to do the same thing at home. So,
Right, because it's very easy to, well, I don't know if it's easy, but it's easier to be kind to people outside the house than it is, with the people that you live with.
that's right.
Don't look at me like that.
You're the one laughing with this maniacal laugh over here. I'm just saying.
So you know what Chrissy does when the boys are acting up with one another?
Hmm.
She starts singing the kindness song,
Oh, yeah.
the Ephesians 4:32.
Yeah, how's
that
that
I
go,
made up.
babe? Hit it, babe. You brought it up. I thought
Right.
about bringing it up, but you brought it up.
Oh,
It's
you
not-
thought about it?
Yeah, but now you got to sing it. Hit it.
Okay.
And a one, and
I
a
made
two,
this one
and
up.
hit it, babe.
Be kind to one another. Ephesians 4:32.
Mhm.
I'm not singing the whole thing.
Oh, fine. Fine. Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah. So we are definitely in a society where we have a lack of that sometimes, and we need to, as parents, be the ones who can help our kids bring more kindness into the future. I think.
Oh, yeah. And, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but, I see the effects of it when it doesn't happen at school.
Yeah.
It can be quite devastating
Yeah. Yeah.
with the kids. And so,
Yeah. Well, before we go any further, let me just say that it does take a village. If you hear a great parenting tip or nugget of advice, share it with your parent friends. Facebook it, Instagram it, tweet it, link it in, and add the hashtag School Days Show and hashtag I Am School Days. And we want you to be a part of the show. So if you have any questions or comments, give us a call at 214-431-5062. So, Dave, who do we have with us today?
So I'd like to welcome Esther Scott. She is a life coach and certified crisis intervention responder. She has earned a double bachelor's in arts in psychology and business administration and a master's in mental health. She has served as director for the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society in Italy, Greece, Bahrain, and as director for the Family Services Department of Catholic Charities in Fort Worth. Currently, she is in private practice at Mending Clinic in Arlington and volunteers for the City of Arlington with the Mayor's Office as a Community Relations Commission member. Her emphasis with the Mayor's Office is on promoting the Kindness Initiative. And Esther holds a deep passion for helping individuals find the best in themselves and others, as she believes kindness is the essential ingredient in achieving that goal. So thank you, Esther, for being here. We're really glad you're here today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And we also have Dr. Von Peeks. He's the author and possesses a doctorate of religious philosophy. Sorry. He serves as the senior pastor of Good News International Christian Center, a non-denominational church located in Arlington, Texas. Globally, he covers and oversees a host of other pastors in several nations through the Good News Ministerial Network. He has further served as chairman of a community development corporation in Ohio, a nonprofit agency specializing in low-income housing and education. Dr. Peeks has met and prayed for leaders of nations, judges, and served as spiritual counsel to heads of city governments. Currently, he helps to serve the City of Arlington as chairman of the Community Relations Commission as a champion for the Kindness Initiative. So welcome to you guys both. Thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
So let's go ahead and jump right in. Tell us what the Kindness Initiative is.
Oh, sure. The Kindness Initiative is something, it's a group of ideas that have come together for us to promote this. And what we're looking for is to involve the schools, to involve the businesses, to involve the citizens. It's just promoting this feel good for the community. And what we're seeing is that these initiatives are popping all over the world, not only in the United States, which there are several cities already doing it, but also around the world. And it's because kindness pay, which is what Dr. Peeks like to say. And this is what we're trying to do. The Kindness Initiative is for Arlington to be able to perform and report what we are doing that is kind.
And so this is something that was developed by Mayor Jeff Williams. Why was this even something that he felt like was important to do?
Mayor Williams went to a mayor's conference a couple of years back and met several mayors across the nation. Two in particular jumped out at him, the mayor of Sacramento, California, and the mayor of Louisville, Kentucky. The two of them had implemented an initiative in the city that literally turned their cities upside down. They were suffering with high crime, excess drug use, a number of social woes. And so they implemented this thing called kindness into the activity of the city, and they just begin to see major changes take place. The negative numbers begin to go down. The quality of life begin to go to another place. And so Mayor Williams made his way back to Arlington and said, I have to have this. I have to have this. So he reassembled the Community Relations Commission. Our primary objective is the Kindness Initiative, but there are other things that we're doing in this city as well. So he and council came together. Each council member had the opportunity to select some people from their district, and then the mayor also did some appointing himself. And we began to look at this thing and see how we could get this out into the city. And so we have a number of things underway that we'll get a chance to get into here with you this morning.
Right.
And so how has the Kindness Initiative impacted the city of Arlington specifically?
Well, to be honest, our first year, we sort of sat there and twiddled our thumbs. It's like, okay, what do you do with this? How do you sell kindness?
Right.
How do you get people to buy into this? And it was a real challenge. A year in, I was called by the mayor. Our chair was called on to greater things, and he asked me to take the chair seat on this thing. And I almost told him no, to be completely honest, because we just still didn't quite know what to do. But I did something really out there in space. I began to pray, and a download came on how to begin to get this out. And what I heard was to go after the culture. Go after the culture, because culture's powerful. Culture is so strong. Culture is more powerful than law. Culture can change law for the good or the bad. Culture is powerful. So just a number of ideas begin to come to mind. We begin to implement these as we begin to inject this thing into our culture. As you were saying earlier, we are developing a city, a nation that's becoming more and more hostile.
Right.
Common courtesies are just being pushed to the side. Everyone's focused on themselves. But if you can establish something in the culture, and culture in its simplest definition is just a way of behaving. It's a way of doing things, if you will. And if we could get this thing injected into Arlington culture to say that this is who we are, this is how we act, this is how we conduct ourselves, you could then begin to see the city turn around. So as Esther mentioned, the plan just begin to come together, and we begin to go after the corporations. We begin to go after the businesses. I sat down with the Texas Rangers, some of the heads at the Rangers, and they came on board. Sat down with the AI. Don't get it into them young. They grow up and become a problem later.
Right.
So we very much wanted to get into the schools, and so Dr. Cavazos loved the whole premise, loved the idea, came on board. We've got kindness zones that are being established in all of the schools. We're going in and we are identifying children that are committing acts of kindness, and meeting with their principals, their counselors, and we're going in the way of a pep rally or an assembly, and we're calling these kids out in front of their peers, and we're making a big deal out of these acts of kindness that they're committing. It seems that the press loves to go after the negative actions and the negative behaviors, and we have to call attention to acts of kindness when we see those carried out as well.
Right.
So we'll call the student out, and we'll read what's been given to us through the principle, the acts of kindness that they've committed, and we take in with us the police. The police are on board with us. We take the fire department in with us. We take the Texas Rangers in with us. We take Parks Mall in with us, and we go in full force. The AISD trustees go in with us, and we're making a big deal over these kids that are doing these tremendous things. And as Esther mentioned a minute ago, one thing the Lord said to me was, he said, this word is really not held in high esteem. It's really not.
Right.
It's really not valued. He said, so you have to add value to this. You have to add value to this. And now we know that kindness is its own reward, but children kind of identify with something a little more tangible. And so in calling these children out and recognizing them in front of their peers, we then give them certificates that are signed by the mayor. We let them know that City Hall is talking about you. City Hall is aware of you and the things that you're doing. Texas Rangers are there to give them free tickets to ball games.
Nice. There you go. That gets their attention.
That gets their attention. We have restaurants that come in with us that give them, and teachers. We're also flagging teachers too, that are putting curriculum in place and doing things within their schools that are reaching the community and that are doing wonderful things right there in the school. Teachers are getting free certificates to restaurants. Parks Mall comes in with us. We identify a class that stands out in that school as the class that's really sort of displaying this thing called kindness. Parks Mall comes in and gives that class a free skating party at Parks Mall.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Chick-fil-A comes with us and says there's nothing, a skating party is not a skating party without a good lunch. We're going to take care of that for you. And so we go in full force, adding value to this thing, and show that kindness is valuable and that it has a reward attached. So these are just some things that we have underway, some things taking place. I'll give Esther a chance to jump in here just a minute. She does a excellent job too at sharing how kindness actually has an effect on the mind.
Yes.
It actually has a physiological effect on the mind, and we give her an opportunity to share that when we go in to speak to the students as well.
That's awesome. Let me ask you a question. You mentioned the kindness zones. What's that?
A kindness zone is sort of what we came up with first. I developed a sign, and I'm going to leave one here with you guys as well.
Oh, I love that.
This is now officially a kindness
can they
zone.
see that? Can you hold that up
I'm
to
going to
the
hold that up to
camera?
the camera.
All right.
If you're watching online.
These are going up all over town. They're being placed in every one of the schools. We just had a delivery made to AISD headquarters that there are, and they're quite large. We have them in different sizes, but the ones going into the schools are quite large, and the school itself is becoming a zone. There are, many types of zones out there. There are construction zones. There are weapon-free zones, and so what just came to me, was why not establish kindness zones, places where those who have embraced the vision can then set up this communication, this sign that continues to communicate, that says when you come in here, you can expect a different culture. You can expect to be treated well. You can expect to be respected here. You can expect tolerance here. And so the schools are picking these up, as I mentioned. Businesses are picking these up. They're going into all the libraries. They're going into the rec centers. They're going into all the parks. And as we partner with more and more businesses, they're catching the vision and getting these established as well. Parks Mall, the entire Parks Mall, you'll see these plastered at different places now through the mall, as the mall has just championed with us and has become an ambassador with us in this initiative. If you go into the bathroom in Parks Mall, you'll see a sign, and they're saying that this is the environment that we want here at the mall.
Put those in a couple of toilet stalls too.
In the toilet stalls, yes.
Well,
Very good.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe. That embarrassed you. I'm sorry.
No, I expect it now.
Yeah. I'm just saying. All right, I'm sorry.
But they are there as a communicator to say this is who we want, this is what we want Arlington to become, this is who we want to be. And it communicates to our residents as well as to our visitors. Arlington gets now over 16 million visitors a year.
Wow.
And so we want them to run into this standard when they come here. So the trolleys that are now moving through the entertainment district have these signs on the inside. And I was just speaking with our sign guy earlier this morning. We're getting ready to put some on the outside as well. And so that communication will be traveling through the streets saying, this is who we are, this is who we are. The electronic billboards, there are 3 here in Arlington, also have these signs that come up periodically, once again, to continue to communicate that this is who we want to be. We want Arlington, while it's growing, it's prospering, we want it to be a great place to live for our residents and as well as our visitors. Our businesses are beginning to understand that without this element, it doesn't matter how great your product is. People are not coming back. You remove kindness from a city, a school, a business, a nation, it'll start to devour itself from the inside. And we're beginning to see that on so many sides. But we're declaring that that won't be the narrative for Arlington. So we are going after this with a vengeance. Again, with the police are on board with us. The police are out at Parks Mall, and we've partnered with them. As I mentioned, they go in with us into the schools. But we've also designed some stickers out at Parks Mall. And so the police out there aren't just looking for shoplifters and people that are creating issues. They're now looking for kids that are committing acts of kindness.
Nice.
That's great.
And they're rewarding them with these stickers. And we're still working on the other side of that, where they'll be able then to go and redeem those stickers at various stores and get, say, a free cookie or free French fry or something like that.
Right.
Because once again, we have to add value to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to show that kindness is valuable. And our children are picking this up. Our schools, we now have the schools calling us, asking, can we be next? Can we be next? As we go in with full force with drums and music and drill teams and all of that, making this thing a big deal. We have to make it a big deal. And there are a couple of campuses in particular, Corey Elementary and Piercy Elementary. One of our one of the persons with us now on the commission is the principal of Piercy Elementary, and she was sort of in the forefront with helping us to get this thing launched. And those two campuses are just tremendous. They're delightful places to go to. And to hear the superintendent, Dr. Gavassis, speak highly, he actually said to me, I love going to those schools. The environment there is just so cool. Well, they designed curriculum around kindness. Reading, writing, and arithmetic in and of itself is not getting this done. And as educators yourself, you know it's becoming more and more difficult to teach. My daughter's also an educator. She just wrapped up her master's, and she comes home with stories every day about issues. And largely at the core is the lack of this K word.
Yeah.
And if we can just get that thing injected, we can begin to turn a lot of this around.
Let me ask you this. We had someone on the show with the Link Initiative that's out of TCU. And what they do is they bring more play into schools. But in addition to that, they add a character element to that. So that there's been some pushback from some different districts because, you know, with the testing and the importance of that, with the state testing and the scores and things like that, there's been so much focus on math and reading and the scores that people have not wanted to add this program in sometimes. So what is the value of doing that, and how would that impact the schools if we focus a little bit more, take a little bit of time away from the core curriculum and add a character piece in, like kindness?
Yeah, and what we see is that math and reading and writing is very important. But what is really going to make a person successful is those skills that comes through character, like kindness, compassion, respect, and those other things. And so while we need to learn how to read and write and all that, the most important thing that we need to learn is how to relate to one another. Because we're going to be in an office, we're going to be in an environment with other people. And if we don't know how to communicate our emotions or how to manage our emotions, we're going to be in deep trouble in success as a professional and success at a personal life, at a personal level. And so what we see is that through teaching character at the school, along with the math and reading and writing that we need, is the best combination to have a successful community, to have a healthy community, to have a happy community. So even though people are kind of have focused on the math, what we see is there are people that have everything. They're successful financially, they're successful at every level, and yet they're not happy, to the point that they're experiencing depression, to the point that they're thinking it's not worth living because they did not develop that internal, which is what we call the emotional learning. If you don't have that connection, the social emotional learning is just as important as math and reading and writing, and they have to come together. So I think that what we're trying to do is present those things in a way that is not either or, but that is balanced, because we cannot trade one for another. They cannot be mutually exclusive. We need to have both to be successful and to be happy.
Right. And Dr. Peak said that you go into the schools, and one of the things that you talk about is the science of kindness and what it does to your brain. So tell us kind of some of the things that you mentioned.
Oh my goodness, this is my favorite part. And it's that the warm and kind of feeling that we feel inside is not just in our heads, it's actually in our chemical substance in the brain, but we don't pay attention to that. And what we notice is that there's 3 particular hormones that get involved in when we do an act of kindness, when we perform an act of kindness, which is dopamine, which we call or is known as the happy juice, is what some people try to find in other things, right?
Right.
Maybe unhealthy
other things we
ways.
don't want to promote
unhealthy
here.
ways. But your brain produces it naturally when we do an act of kindness. I do counseling from the faith perspective, and that tells me that we are a creation and we were designed and created that when we do something, it was the designer's idea that it's not good for us to be alone. It is the designer's idea that he put us in community. So when we are helping one another, there's a reward that Dr. Peaks was mentioning before. That is the reward that we need. When we're bringing those things externally, it's just to have a tangible way to say this is what's happening inside. So we have the dopamine that is flowing in your brain immediately. And it happens also when you just hear about it, when you witness it. We have serotonin. And serotonin, I have a tendency to say it in Spanish because Spanish is my first language. So some people say it's serotonin, but I'm going to call serotonin, right? And what it does, we call that the healing serum. Is what helps you heal. When you have surgery or one of your kids fall and scrape their knees, the serotonin is what is going to come and do the healing for them. It has a lot of other functions, beneficial functions to us, but I just want to focus on that healing process. And then we have oxytocin, which is what we call the love potion. It's the hormone that mothers release when they're breastfeeding. It's what makes us trust. It's what makes us friendly. It's what makes us feel good. And so we make that connection. The blood pressure actually slows down, and so the mom can connect that. Then when we are adult, is what makes us fall in love. When we see somebody kind, immediately we go for that person. And so, there you go.
Thanks,
so
babe.
So you had a lot of oxytocin flowing when you met each other, and somehow you got attracted.
She had more for me, though, initially. We'll go to another story.
You can't see me rolling my eyes, but
It's the truth. Anyway, keep going.
Right. So those things are happening for us as we are doing an act of kindness. Now, as we have mentioned about society and how we're changing, for instance, opening the door for somebody makes those juice flow. However, these days, we cannot just hold the door open for somebody. There's security reasons. There's a badge that you need to slide. You don't know who is coming. And also, the doors now open and close automatically. So you don't have to do that. So that opportunity has been taken for us. So we're not exercising. We're not allowing the brain to produce that because even the simple thing has been removed. So we got to be creative and finding ways that we can be kind with one another. And what I tell my clients all the time is allow people to help you. Because when people have an opportunity to come and help,
That's
like for
so
instance,
nice.
sometimes we're carrying something heavy and they say, can I help? We go, oh, I got it. I can barely open the door, but I said, I got it. So what happens is I just stop the brain for that person to produce this happy juice and also my brain from experiencing. Because remember that an act of kindness has the positive effect, not only on the person that does it, but also the person that receives it and the person that witnesses or hears about it. So this has been limited just because I said, I got it.
Why do we do that? Do you know I did that when I was in labor? My husband dropped me off at the front door. I am in a lot of pain and my water has broken. And somebody asked me if I needed help in, and I said no.
I beg you.
That's crazy. I love that you tell your clients, let people help you, because sometimes we get either prideful or we don't want to bother someone or just allow people to experience the act of kindness and you to get the help that
Yes.
you need.
Also, if you would have said yes to that, because kindness also reduces pain. It's a natural
See?
analgesic.
And I would have gotten to my epidural faster.
Exactly. So your pain would have been reduced.
Wow.
so funny.
Do you find that people are resistant to acts of kindness being done? I mean, we talked about it, but like, well, I guess what I'm getting at is, are people leery of someone being kind to them? Do you see people with their guards up? Like, can I take your, if let's say you're going to the grocery store and say, can I take your groceries for you? Are people afraid you're going to knock them upside the head, or just kind of, are people just kind of,
Or take their stuff, take their groceries.
right, and run, or say, break yourself, fool, give me, so, what have you observed in that space?
Yes, we have seen that, and it has to do with the fact that we have moved away from those acts of kindness, and unfortunately, we're not sure, even when we want to help in the road, like for instance, we see somebody with a flat tire, and we want to help, but we're not sure, is this really a flat tire, or is this somebody just wanting me to stop so that they can do something? So fear comes in, and when fear comes in, we are more hesitant to do those acts of kindness. In fact, there is a verse that says that where love is, fear cannot stay. We have to exchange those feelings. So either I'm afraid or I'm trusting, and then I'm going to be helpful. And so what we see is that, yes, people are fearful that is this real? And also we're in a culture, in a society where we feel that we have to do it ourselves. And so we're also hesitant that if we allow somebody to help us, it means that I can't do it. And remember that we encourage do it yourself, you do it yourself. We're also in a society that tells us that there is nothing for free. If you want to help me, what's the catch? Are you really trying to help me? Or is it? And so we go a little deeper. But with the daily just exercise of, can I open the door for you? Can I hold this? Can I do that? I encourage them, do it. And then for the fearful situation, depending on your background, if you're going to help somebody, just go for it. And the Lord is going to take care of the rest if you're a person of faith. If you do not have that, then just look at worst case scenario. Is it worth it? And if it is, go for it, because fear stops us from accomplishing lots of things, not only professional or in life, but even the little things that is going to make an impact on our daily life. Just today, when you do something kind, you feel good. Like if you're the first one to say hello, even if the person didn't respond back, guess what? You feel good. And so when you're in a good mood, it's probably because there has been those little things of kindness that you've been doing that you're not even aware. And the same is true. If we do not practice that, then we're going to have a day where we feel like everything is going wrong. Because now, remember, the brain is like a camera. And so we're zooming in what is not going well. And we're going to find more of those because we're on the alert. Oh, I can't believe I ran into a red light, or the traffic was so heavy, I'm running late, I'm not going to say hello, the elevator just left without me. So we're going to start looking at all those little negative things that are happening. And by the end of the day, we're going to say, oh, I had a terrible day. When in reality is that we were actually on the alert for those negative things, and we forgot to get out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's just take a,
go
take a quick break and say that if you have any questions or comments for our guests, give us a call at 214-431-5062. Go ahead.
So a couple of things I've just have observed, just in little things like when I go into a store, and I ask the people that work there, when you walk into a store, welcome to blah, blah, blah. And I always say hi back, hi, welcome. But I'll watch people just walk right on by, and I ask the guys that work there, how often do you get that? They just ignore you, like straight up just ignore you as if you didn't even exist. And they say, you know what, we just kind of don't worry about it. I was just there was somebody the other day I came across, and she was looking at some stuff for our foundation, and I said, hi. She didn't even look up at me.
I don't think people expect it.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't expect to be noticed or
And so she came back
acknowledged.
again. Yeah, she came back again. I said, hi. And like, well, okay, well, and she just kind of mosey on off. I'm thinking, do you even hear the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yeah, and I think that people are not used to that. So when we moved from one city to another, we were kind of taken aback by the lack of communication. David and I are pretty friendly people, probably a little overly friendly.
Yeah.
And so we expect people to, be courteous and kind. And, we'd speak to our neighbors, and they would just kind of look at us like, what's your problem?
Yeah.
So I have a question, though, about what you would recommend to your child if kindness does not work for them, because some people that you don't elicit the response that you want. So what do you say to them?
Yeah, one of the things that I tell the parents that come to see us at Mending Clinic is that kindness is like a seed. You plant it, and even though you don't see anything on the upper level, actually it is taking root. There is something that is happening. Because remember, before it comes out of the ground, is working deeper. So it's going deeper. So when we are training our kids to be kind and we don't see that respond, because then they're going to be discouraged. I say hello and nobody say hello back to me.
Right.
So, but what we said is that when we're doing those acts of kindness, it's not for us. is for them.
Yeah.
We're doing something nice for
It's
them.
not about us.
No. So what they do with that,
That's
it doesn't
good.
matter. And also, if this person doesn't have the experience or is not expecting that you're going to say hello, they're going to go, "Ooh, is he talking to me? I don't know what to
And
say."
why?
Right. Why is he saying hello to me? He doesn't know me, right? And so, but they're going to take that with them. And now when they see somebody else or when they are ready, they're going to say hi because they remember, oh, they're very friendly here. Everybody's saying hello. Everybody has a smile. And so they're going to start learning that. So know that the seed is taking root. And we need to prepare our kids to know that you're not going to see it immediately, but also remember that we're not doing it for us. We're doing it for your friend
That's
that
good.
seems sad, or we're doing it for this neighbor. Another way to practice kindness with kids in particular, this is one a little bit, is that, like, for instance, when we see an accident on the road, I have a tendency, like, I totally disagree with using your phone when you're in your car. That's a personal view of mine. So when there's a beautiful day, a sunny day, and there's no rain and there's nothing, and I see somebody that crashed against the wall, my immediate thought is like, he was probably changing the radio or he was looking at his phone, right? Because my brain is trying to make sense what happened here. But instead of that, what if we just say, oh, if our kids are with us in our car, I hope that that person is okay. If you're a person of faith, let's say a prayer for this person. It doesn't take but a word, because the Lord hears it and your children are listening, that you're not judging, wondering, was he looking at the phone? Was he changing the radio? Forget about that and just be constantly reminding your kids about kindness. Now they're absorbing that. And when they see an accident, they don't know the people that are in the car, but they're going to say a prayer, or they're going to send a kind thought, and that has a powerful effect on the people that are in the accident, even if they never hear it, and on your child, and on you for having taught your child that.
Yeah, you never know what people are going through.
Right.
Or,
That's right.
People there are a lot of hardened people just from life. When think about, like, if you rub up against your skin at a certain point over and over again, it builds up a callus.
Yes.
And so one drop of water on a callus isn't going to take it away, or, running something over something that's been baked onto, let's say, a dish. It has to be soaked and massaged. And, over time,
That's it.
those things, hearts are lightened. So, again, to your point, you can't take it personally. Another aside thought, my wife knows I'm the guy that does the unscripted questions. But I was thinking about, like, we have 2 boys and a girl, and with our sons, we're trying to teach them how to be gentlemen for ladies, particularly with my wife and with our daughter, because our daughter's the youngest. And so how does this culture of kindness relate between males and females in particular, and how do we build a culture in our young boys of learning how to respect women in school, because all types of stuff, people saying just crazy stuff in general, and they think it's no big deal, and maybe they don't have a role model at home, or maybe they've seen some things to show, no, this is not how you treat a woman. And then vice versa, sometimes, girls can pop off on guys, and be disrespected back. So what are your thoughts on how to create a culture in schools with students, and just creating that culture of kindness and respect, and guys learning how to open a door for a young lady, and
Can you do that in school?
I mean, you can.
I feel like that would not be well received. I'm not
Well,
saying it's
No,
not a bad
no,
thing.
I'm not
I mean,
saying I'm not saying I'm doing this to you because you're a girl, but just do it.
We
I know.
have-
I'm just saying it might not be well received. Go ahead.
We have principals now that are doing just that. As we're going in with this message, they're teaching the children how to respect one another. Boy to girl, girl to boy. They're teaching them this. They're realizing that they're not going to be able to teach the way they want until this foundation is put in place. And this is one of the fruits of the Spirit, and the further and further away we get from the things of God, we're going to deal with more issues like this. So this allows us to come in and deal with this particular fruit, and I think fruit is the is the operative word there. We heard that when an act is committed, a seed is planted. At some point, the fruit will come.
Yeah.
Fruit doesn't come right away. It takes time, and this effort that we're engaged in as well it's going to take some time as it begins to permeate. But we have some teachers now that have really embraced this and are engaging this in the classroom, and where the children are doing things for one another, for the school, and even for people outside of the school. So it is taking place.
Modeling is so important.
Indeed.
And, the male teachers that we have in the schools can do a lot to mentor the young men. I'm sure that you had plenty of opportunity to do that in your experience in education.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that to go to the point of whether will that be accepted in school, because we're changing a little bit and we're trying to do this equality and things. But what we're looking at, I like to use analogies because I think that people relate well to analogies. Like, for instance, when we lay out the red carpet at Hollywood for the movie premiere, right? What we're indicating is, ooh, you're a superstar. You're so important. We're going to open the door for you, and somebody's going to carry the umbrella in your place, and you're going to walk through the red carpet, right? So when we're in school and we're treating each other with this respect, particularly if it's a boy towards a girl, what it's saying is not that you can't do it. It's not that I need to hold the door because you can't open it. It's that I'm holding the door because you are a superstar, because you are all this, and I want to show you my respect for being a girl, for whatever reason may be, that I'm opening this for you. Just like we would do for a friend. When we're with friends, whether it's a boy or a guy, we hold the door for them as a sign of appreciation, as a sign of wanting to help. So when we focus, what are we trying to do? What we're trying to do is to show how special you are to me, that I am going to be last and I'm going to let you go first. It's the red carpet of courtesy when I hold the door for a girl. And so we can't argue about, well, I can do it myself. You do it all you want, but this just means that you're special to me and I want to hold the door for you. It doesn't mean that you can do it. Also, from that design perspective, when we have this male and female and we're going with that initial original design that from the faith perspective I approach, it's saying that if we're a helper, for you to be a helper, you need to be qualified. It doesn't mean that you need help. It actually means that you're qualified and that you're a helper. You're a part of this. And so when we take that approach, we see that there is no need for anybody to be offended, because actually I'm highlighting your strength and I am telling you how important you are to me.
We have 2 high school interns that are in the lobby listening to us, and I wish they had a little button so they could chime in about how that would go over in their high school. But
well, I think it's interesting, because like with my son, my oldest son will say, hold the door for your sister. And he'll say, well, she can do it herself. Well, we know that. Yeah. But we want you to open a door and to learn just how to care for your sister.
Yeah. And eventually your wife.
Show
exactly.
That appreciation.
Right. Yeah, because we're modeling,
That's
one
right.
day. If we don't show it early, then where are they going to learn it?
Yeah, that's training up a child in the way they should
Exactly.
go. That's very much it. And it's interesting. I got a call. We've got partnerships out at TCC. TCC is now a kindness zone. That college has embraced it, and they have efforts underway where they're helping the community. But I shared at our awards ceremony. We have an awards ceremony that we're doing now each year. That I got a call from one of the professors at the largest campus here in our city. And sat down with her, and she had heard about the program, had been reading some of the articles, and contacted the city. And the city passed her on to me, and she said, is anything being done here on this campus? We very much need this. And I began to ask, I said, well, how'd you hear about us? And she told me the story. And she went on to tell me that she had been getting bullied. I said, you've been getting bullied? I said, you mean by your students? She said, no, by coworkers, by other professors. She says, this is a horrible place to work.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
It's toxic. The people here are terrible. So it doesn't just go away.
No.
They grow up with it.
Yeah.
Right.
If you don't get this in them early, and it may take time to bear fruit, but they just get older, and it gets
And
worse
meaner.
and meaner.
And have less accountability.
Well, and there's nothing worse than a jerk with a degree.
Wow.
There's nothing worse than that.
And
So-
with people under him or
Yeah.
her.
And the people that are under as a result, and that passes right on down.
Yeah.
So we have school shootings taking place. Businesses are being shot up. This word is missing from our vocabulary and our practice. I think we're starting to realize that it holds a lot more weight than any of us really thought.
Yeah.
Let me ask, what do we tell our kids when we're seeing some prominent, what should be role models, not exercise kindness?
In any level, it could be in the
In any level.
classroom. It could be just out in societies.
Yeah, and I think that when we're looking at role models, we're defining it probably in the athletics or it could be the clown or it could be the leader in class. And so it's the people that we look up to for whatever
Yes.
reason. And so when we see somebody that is not being kind, we go back to that emotional social learning that they're probably not practicing the character. And when we see somebody like that, what we tell our kids is, this person in that position could be doing so much more. Or what will happen if so-and-so will ask Julie how she's feeling. And so we kind of make them imagine, what if that person would do this, so that they can make their own assessment. That's not what he is doing. And so in most cases, when talking to kids, their brain is developing. So you want to have them look for that question. Like, if we tell them, it's just mom telling me, and they're going to forget. The things that we process are the things that we remember. So instead of saying, I don't want you to do what Ricky did, no, what do you think about what Ricky did? Where do you think that's coming
good.
from? Do you think that that was helpful to Lucy? And so once that the kid is giving their opinion, do you think that will be something that could change? How would you change it? If you were Ricky, what would you do? And so this is a
good.
conversation that is making the kid's brain come with their own answer, his own story. His imagination is seeing the scenario and he's replaying. Now he's the superhero. He is involved. And remember that imagination is a full blown until they get to about 12, right? And so we want to take advantage of that natural plasticity that the brain has to mold and shape. And we want to use this so that they exercise the brain muscle by looking at what is not right and ask them. If they don't have the right answer, then you can come in and you say, what about if instead? And then you provide the accurate example if the kid doesn't have it. But in most cases, they're going to have it. Because remember, from the way that I do counseling, from that faith perspective, we were designed, we came with it, so we have it inside. We just need to develop it.
So how do we balance raising kind and compassionate kids with also teaching them to not be doormats or have people run over them?
Ooh. Well, I think that Dr. Peaks will agree with me. The model that is used for us to kind of gauge kindness, it says, love your neighbor as
Yourself.
yourself. So when we're teaching kindness, we're teaching you're not going to be a doormat. You got to love yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You got to respect yourself. You are this wonderful creature in the image of God. So when we're looking at that, we know that being kind is also putting a stop to something that is not right.
That's good.
And then it encourages to speak the truth in love. So being kind may be saying that thing that we're not supposed to, that they don't want to hear. But when we're teaching our kids, we go for that reference. Love your neighbor as yourself. The golden rule that you mentioned earlier, treat others as you want to be treated. And so that is kind of like the guidance that it takes us to have kind people without being disrespectful to themselves by allowing people to walk all over them.
And as we're working with the police are very much a part of this, oddly enough. We think of the police, we think of weapons, we think of guns, tasers. Well, kindness is also a weapon. Okay, it's a preemptive strike weapon. And the police are being armed with that here in Arlington. We've got a slogan that's going across the city now, Arlington armed with kindness.
Yeah.
And we're seeking to get every citizen armed. But the police are realizing that community policing goes a long way and helps to prevent crime. Kindness, I love our police chief, Will Johnson. We've become great friends. he understands this thing as well. So they're not just learning how to shoot at the rifle ranges. They're being taught the value of this as well. And so Parks Mall has come along and said, we don't just want the stickers now at Parks Mall. We want them across the city. We're going to purchase them for the whole police department.
Wow.
And so they're not just looking to pull people over to give them tickets for doing something wrong.
Nice.
They're now looking for the kids that are doing things right.
Yeah.
Because once again, this is a crucial piece to any community.
Oh yeah, it breaks
Yes.
down barriers. It builds trust.
Indeed.
You know,
And
'cause
and that's just what's happening for them. It's building trust for them, as our police too are also. They do an incredible amount of community service, even when they're not on schedule. These guys are doing some tremendous things for the citizens of Arlington, and it's building that trust. It's building that communication. And then when others are seeing crimes take place, they gladly get a hold of the police and say, "Hey, this just happened. This is the person that did it," and we're shutting some things down on the perimeter as a result.
Man, I sure wish we had another hour.
I know.
I'm looking through my notes here, and I'm like, oh, one more question. Which one do I choose?
Can I share this with you quickly,
Yeah,
though?
sure.
We just came out of our second award ceremony where we selected 4 high schoolers. The earlier programs of going into schools has just been restricted to elementary and junior high. And the approach to high schoolers has to be a little different. So we select 4 high schoolers through AISD headquarters. We bring them down to City Hall, and we stand them up in front of the city and look to talk about their accomplishments. Media's there. The auditorium was almost full this year. It was tremendous. And we gave them each $1,000 scholarships
Wow.
for
Right.
college. We're also now, we've just added other citizens in the community that are doing things as well, and we've honored them with trophies for their acts of kindness as well. And it was just a tremendous event.
Yeah, and we recognize our partners too. So if somebody in your listening audience wants to partner with us, we also recognize our partners. We have people that come alongside and work with us and display the sign and says, kindness is welcome here. So there's different ways that the community can get involved in a proactive way that is just more looking, what can I do? And there, we have a list of things that they can do, starting by going to our
great.
website and reporting an act of kindness, because remember that kindness has a domino effect. When you do it, you feel good. The person that receives it feels good, but the person that hears about it, that witnesses, also feels good. So if you do
Right.
something, we encourage you to go ahead and report it so that we can do that. Oh, and here's the website. Thank you, Dr. Biggs. He said that our website is, I don't have my glasses. So if you can read it.
arlington-tx.gov/CRC. I'll give that again. arlington-tx.gov/CRC. And you can go and report an act of kindness that you've committed or that you've witnessed. We want to bring attention to that.
Can I
And
do that if I
become
live
a
in
partner.
Cincinnati?
Well, sure. We just
Malaysia.
we just won't recognize you, but sure.
Right.
We'll be happy
Welcome
about
that
it.
anywhere.
No, we have people that are listening all over the nation and all over the world. And I hope
Yes.
that they go to your website and get some ideas about how to spread kindness in their communities and spread kindness all over the world. We will also have that information on our website, schooldaystoshow.com.
Now I think to wrap it up, babe, I think you got to go back to the song.
The kindness song,
Yeah.
Ephesians
Uh-huh.
4:32.
Yeah, hit it, babe.
No, I need to lower the key because, and I'm not warmed up.
The world is waiting, babe.
I don't think they are because, unfortunately, we're out of time. So thank you so much for joining us. You guys gave us some great tips, and we had some questions online that we'll be able to address a little bit later. We'll share them with you and then give that information out. But as always, we want to end by letting you guys know what's happening with Noggin. So what's happening with Noggin Coaching, Dave?
So, as we hit the 4th of July, that's the slash mark where kids feel free and And I know teachers feel free, but then once you cross over the 4th of July mark, then you start feeling school getting closer and closer. This is a great time to be proactive in getting ready for the school year, and not waiting until you get the first progress report or the first report card to realize, oh, my child needs help here. We can help to identify those areas where your child is struggling, areas from the previous school year where they need help, getting ready for the SAT, for the ACT, getting a jump start so that things are not a surprise when school hits. So this is a great time to reach out to us. You can reach out to me at info@noggin, that's NOGGIN, education.com.
And today through August 4th, Noggin Educational Foundation is having the hashtag Bought a Backpack Challenge. So each summer we collect brand new backpacks for the students who participate in our summer math and reading program, and as well as local children in need throughout the Metroplex. So we challenge you to take the hashtag Bought a Backpack social media challenge, and it's easy. Just buy a backpack, take a picture with your backpack, and post the picture on social media and tag a few friends to do the same. That's the important part, because we want to spread the love. So if you're not in the DFW area but you have Amazon Prime, you can donate by ordering from our wish list. So for more information, head to nogginfoundation.org. That's NOGGIN. So David, what's happening next week?
So next week we'll sit down with Nicole Franks, who is an educator and director of diversity at Alcuin School in Dallas, Texas. Nicole will talk to us about teaching kids to value differences and diversity, and have positive interactions, and to reduce unhealthy biases.
Yeah, we look forward to that one.
Yes.
That's going to be great. As always, head to our website, schooldayshow.com, for more information. And remember, you don't ever have to miss a show. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and pretty much anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Noggin Foundation. That's NOGGIN. And do you YouTube? You can find episodes of School Days and other videos featuring the fun educational programs we offer through our foundation on our YouTube channel. So all you have to do is search for Noggin Educational Foundation. And last but not least, we always want to end our program by saying that David and I are parenting by grace. We depend on God to give us the wisdom and strength we need to raise our kids into flourishing adults. And if you would like to know more about that, email us at info@schooldayshow.com. Have a great week.
School Days is sponsored by Noggin Educational Foundation. At Noggin, we provide free educational resources to students from low-income families and support to their parents like the preceding broadcast. School Days is made possible by the generosity of listeners just like you. Please consider donating to Noggin at Noggin, NOGGIN, foundation.org.
Hey, this is Barb.